Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to look at some more Age of Sigmar stuff. Last week we did the Ard Boys. This week we're going to talk about the Brutes. And a couple other... We're going to look at 3 kits today, and a brief look at a 4th one that we'll actually look at more next week. But there's a reason why I want to show it off today briefly. But we'll get into that in a bit. So... This is the Orc Brutes. This is probably... It's easily one of, if not my favorite kit in the Orc Warclans. Maybe even in the entire game. I really love the Brutes. They're fun to put together. They're fun to play. They're just a fun kit. And there's a lot of options when it comes to them. And we're going to get into that in a bit here. But first, I guess let's look at the War Scroll card so you guys can kind of know what you're dealing with. So they have Move of 4, Save of 4, Bravery of 6, and Wounds of 3. So they're tougher and stronger than the Ard Boys by far. And they're also battle lines. So it's like your choice... Let's see, point-wise, because I didn't go over the points in that. So Ard Boys are 85 points for 5, and the Brutes are 160 for 5. So they're significantly more expensive, but there's a reason for that too. So let's get into their melee profile. So you got the regular Brute Choppas with 4 attacks, 3 to hit, 3 to wound, rend of 1, and damage 1 apiece. So that's a good, that's a 50-50 shot, to get that off. And then you got the Jagged Gore Hakkas. Now these have a 2-inch range, so if you've got 10 of them, now everybody in the back are able to hit. So that's majorly, a benefit because now you got 10 orcs that can get into combat instead of just the first 5. They have 3 attacks instead of the 4, 3 up, 3 up with a rend of 2. No, this is the Jagged Gore Hakka. Sorry. My apologies. That's going to be this big blade here. Right? No, that's right. I was right the first time. I apologize. Jagged Gore Hakka is just these guys. So essentially they're spears. It gets confusing. But it's got a 3 up with a rend of 2 and a damage of 1. So it's a pretty good attack profile still, and gets better rend. Now the Gore Choppa, which is this big blade here, 1 in every 5 can have that. That's got the 2-inch range still, and so these guys can be in regular Brute units too. So if you have a unit of 10, then you can get 2 of those guys in there, so you at least get 2 people attacking from the back. A 3 up, 4 to hit, so it's a little harder to hit. 3 to wound, rend of 2, but damage of 2 piece. So it's a pretty good attack profile there. Then you get the Boss Choppa. So there's 2 different options for a boss. One is the Boss Choppa with a 1-inch range, 3 hit, 3 up, rend of 1, damage 2 piece. And then there's the Boss Claw and Brute Smash combo, which is 4 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, rend of 1, damage 2. So this is going over, what you can build. Each model in an Orc Brute is armed with one of the following weapon options: Brute Choppa or Jagged Gore Hakka. All models in the unit must be armed with the same weapon option. So if you go with Brute Choppa, all of them gotta have Brute Choppa. So if you go with Jagged Gore Hakka, they all have to have a Jagged Gore Hakka. But 1 in every 5 models can replace their weapons with a Gore Choppa. So you can have up to 2 of them, or 1 of them per unit of 5. I'll mix them up however you need to. a champion, one model, and this unit can be a brute boss. Replace that model's weapons with a boss choppa or a boss claw and brute smasher. Now, what's good about this is, before they had this really weird weapon profile where the boss claw would like catch somebody and then it gets a free hit or something like that. It was very confusing. It just wasn't a very fun little thing. Then you got Duff Up the Big Things. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit that target a unit with a wound characteristic 4 or more. So the bigger unit they're fighting, the better chances it gets to hit. So it's like if you're fighting something that's like got a wound characteristic of 5 or more, now your hit is 2 up for most of these. And that's crazy. Or no, your wound is 2 up. 2 up on all of them. So that's wait. No. God, I apologize. Yes, it's add 1 to hit roll. So yeah, the hit. I was right the first time. Both times I'm right the first time. Hanging my head in shame. Alright, and then you messing. This is probably one of my favorite rules of the Orruk Warclan, the newest edition anyway. There's one exception, and that's the shaman from the Bone Splitters that can just stare somebody to death. It's a fun rule. If this is successful with the Iron Jaws, we might get into those too. But you messing. Enemy models with a wound characteristic of 1 that are within 3 inches of this unit cannot contest objectives. So what that means is, typically the way it works, if you guys are not familiar with it, so let's say you have an objective there, and you get your brutes here, and say you have 1 or 2 of them. Usually the way it works is if, say, your opponent's army has just like a mob of zombies and they have like 20 zombies and you only have 1 or 2 orc here, the zombies instantly count as having the objective because they have more models within a certain radius of the objective. But what this means is it doesn't matter. The orcs win. And I love that. I could just see them just looking at them like, really? What are you trying to do here? Alright, so enough of that. Now let's look at the kit. So you've got a slew of pieces. So the chest is done in 6 different options. One's kind of looking left, and this one's looking straight forward. This one's looking right. Well, it's his left and then our right. Yeah, but you get what I mean. So you got all these different options, and then you got this one with that's got half a head on there. That one is because this piece here is a jaw that you can glue on. So that's pretty cool. You also got like the torso pieces. All of these are interchangeable without anything. All of these torso pieces are interchangeable to an extent. You just have to be kind of careful how you're doing it. The majority of the arms are all interchangeable. And the shoulder pads are all interchangeable. The belt buckle, you can kind of get away with it, but for the most part, not really. The back plates are all interchangeable, and all the heads are interchangeable. So you've got a lot of different options that you can build with these guys. So here's another head. It's got like kind of a half an iron jaw. And then you have all of these little bits here that you can glue onto the shoulder pads or whatever to kind of give them a little bit more character too. So lots of options. And I do apologize for people that are new to this channel. My dog likes to snore when I'm on camera. Now, he is awake the majority of the time when he's snoring. He's just trying to get attention. So I do apologize. So this is the boss choppa. Usually you have that holding the head, but you have other options for him to hold. I think you have just a fist hand too somewhere, or something. But yeah, once we build them, you can see more. And then this is the boss claw. And then this is the boss smash up. And then of course this is your jagged, or your gore chop. So a lot of options on this frame alone. But there's 2 more frames to go into. So, here's frame number 2. So again, you got some back plates, left and right body halves. You got a slew of different arms, little add-on pieces, waist pieces, more heads, shoulder pads, bones. Here's an open hand. I think that goes with one of these, yeah. So, and then more heads and stuff. So you got a bunch of options on these things. Kind of get some character into them. There's the backside. Yeah, a lot of options. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, this kit is a fun kit. And then you got the third frame too, which is more of the same. You got your back plates, your chest pieces, your heads, your decorative pieces, arms. Like this leg here, you can either give them a boot or you can give them a peg leg. So if you want to kind of change things up, it's nice that they add something. It's not something major, but it's just something extra. Gives a little attention to detail there. If you build these kits right, there's actually a way with like this one, I think, where you can actually get 2 arms that are, like you could use this arm and then you use this hand with this hand. So you could actually have one without any weapons, which is actually, like, I always, whenever I redo my Iron Jaws, I always build one like that because I think it's just fun to have one that has no weapons and he's just going to battle with the rest of them. And because of the way the rules, right, he's just armed like the rest of them. So I just imagine one orc's out there just punching people to death. Alright, so that's it for the standard Brutes kit. Now, real quick, I want to show off these are the Gorgruntas. We'll actually look at them at another time, probably next week. Now, what I wanted to point out with these is what's really cool, and it just makes a ton more options. A lot of these arms are interchangeable with the Brute kit. Now, a lot of the Brute kits can work in with the Gorgruntas, but you have to be careful on which one. I recommend, if you're swapping pieces from one kit to the other, dry fit them first. And make sure that it's going to fit right for you. Because some of them are just at a weird angle. Some of them, like if one of these weapons is more on a downward side of things. Let's see. Like, I think this guy is. It's going to get in the way of the Gorgrunta. So you got to be careful on which ones you select. So, and one great thing about this kit is, like, right here. So each of these kits have 3 Gorgruntas in it. And you can see right here, I've already got 6 heads. So you got a slew of different heads that you can actually interchange. You can interchange the shoulder pads as well. And any of the little glyph markers and stuff. All of those are interchangeable with the Brute kit. And the back plates are also interchangeable. So these ones are designed to, so you can see that it's got a little bit of extra design as opposed to these guys. And what that's for is they have these little tufts of hair here. So what I like to do is I will swap out a bunch of these and have my Brute bosses with like these little notches here and just the Gorgrunta bosses with them, just to kind of make it even more, you know, these guys are the boss because they're the only ones that'll have that. The left arms obviously will not be interchangeable because these ones have to hold the reins of the Gorgrunta. But a lot of their weapons will work with the Brute kit, which is nice. And then the third frame, which is it's got some orc bits on here, but mostly it's got Gorgrunta bits and stuff. So yeah, we've got a number of options, and like I said, these ones will work with the brute kits. But we'll look more detailed at those guys next time. Alright. Now, the next thing is this kind of goes into the brutes as well, is Morgok's Crushers. Now, this kit is out of print now, I believe. But if you can find it, I recommend it. It's a good kit. So you can see, like, it's got the same profile there. But these kits are single pose models as opposed to multi-part kits. So you only get these ones. So you get the Gorbasha, which has a 2-inch range, 3 to hit, 4 to wound, or 3 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, rend of 1, damage 2 apiece. Smashes, 1-inch range, 5 to hit, or 5 attacks, which, tops a lot of them. 3 to hit, 3 to wound, no rend, but damage 1. And then the boss Choppas, which is 3 attacks, 3 up, rend of 1, 2. And it says Morgok, this guy, is the unit champion. First time a monster is destroyed by an attack made by this unit, and add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by this unit for the rest of the battle. So that's pretty cool. And then and duff up the big things, so it's the same one. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit that target a unit with a wound characteristic of 4 or more. So, sadly, they don't get the Messin rule. But there's enough here that I think it's, it's pretty cool. And the advantage about these guys is, let's see here. Nope, that's the wrong one. So they are 90 points instead of 160. So they're about 30 points a model. So they're just a little cheaper than the regular brutes, if you do the math. So they're a little bit cheaper, but it's nice to have those little units that are like only 90 points, so that you can fill in, like, oh, I only have 100 points left, I can't do another unit of brutes, but you can do Krushas. So that's nice. Now, the original kit that they came in was like a green color, but they did, for a while there, release them in a gray color. And like I said with the Iron Jaws, or the Iron Skull Boys, I would like them to see them continue utilizing these, because this kit came out in 2020, so it's only 2 years old. So it's a really shame if they're going to just stop using it. But it's like, I would like to see these things be thrown into like the start collecting boxes, just to give you something unique that you won't get somewhere else. So you got your headpieces here for one of them. Here's the bulk of the body. The problem with these single pose kits is, they look really dynamic when you get them together, but on the frame it's hard to see what goes to what. So like you see this guy's got like 2 smashes. This put together, he's got a smasher, he's got a smasher, so it's just like, and he's got, so dual smashes. He's got 2 just blades. And then none of this is going to be interchangeable with anything else. It works only for these guys. You have to get really creative if you're going to try and do anything that's anything more advanced with it. So, yeah, I do recommend them if you can find them for a good price. Like I said, I know they did the last chance to buy them, and then now they're gone. But I think that's a mistake. But I really hope that they come back and gives people a chance to pick these guys up again, because I think this is one of their better little kits. And then, of course, if you don't want to use them as the Krushas, it's also nice to just throw them in as just unique looking brutes. Like, he could easily be a brute, like any one of them would make a pretty cool looking brute boss. So there's that as well. And the last little thing that we're going to look at, and then I'll turn the camera off and I'll put them together, and then we'll come back and I can show you just a variety of them, this is one more brute. What's his name? This is the Warhammer commemorative series Brawla and Brawla and Burke Boss Rat Killis. So this was like $35. It's I wish I hadn't put it together so that I could show you it on frame now, but I put this together a long time ago. And it's like one of those, like, I like to cycle out my models just so that I can get a fresh start on things. But because I hadn't painted it, and it's also hard to get, and it's like $85 now. And essentially what this is just a glorified brute boss. He's on a 50mm base. I'm pretty sure he came with the 40mm base as well. The brutes always come on the 40mm. So his base is actually, that he's on, is too big for regular brutes. So I'd actually have to rebase him to use him as a brute. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put him on a 50mm base and make him a count as Mega Boss. Because I just can't, in my head, I just can't justify using a $35 model, that's what I paid for it, as just one of 5. You know what I mean? That means he costs more, more than half the cost of a brute box. The brute boxes are $60 a piece now. You can pick them up for $51, but at $60, this guy's $35. He's more than half the cost of a unit of 5. So it's like I have a hard time justifying it myself, but yeah, maybe I'll change my mind and just make him a brute boss. But it's a really cool kit. If you get a chance to pick it up for a good price, I would highly recommend it. It's a fun, I don't think it was all that fun to put together, but it's a fun kit to look at. This has been a good year for limited edition orc stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And then let me get the brutes together, or at least some of them. I've got 4 boxes of them now, but I'll get them together so we can take a look at all the different options that you have, and what I've built with them, stuff like that, so you can just see what you're building. But yeah, I guess that's all I got for now. Okay, so now we've got the brutes together, and we're going to take a look at these guys now. Unlike the Ard Boys, it is not hard to give these guys character. I just put together 4 units of these guys, and they all look... none of these orcs, these brutes, none of them really look all that similar to each other. So we'll just run through them real quick. So I made 4 units of 5. So the first one, let's see here. How do we do this? What's the most effective way? So first off, each unit is going to have one of these guys. And again, I recommend putting these guys in there because they got the 2-inch range. So some of them with just 2 choppas. At least this guy has a little bit more range for it. So if he's standing behind something, he can still whack at stuff. So it's nice to have a little range in there, and it does some pretty good damage. So all 4 units have this guy. So as you can see, all are going to be a little bit different from each other. Although, you can't really do much with that big blade there. This guy. So yeah, it's nice to be able to make so many different orcs with the big choppas. So yeah, there's that side of things first. So we got that out of the way. Trying to keep these in order because I was trying to get them to stay in certain units. Alright, So now with the dual choppas, and some of these, like I said, some of the heads and some of these right arms come from the Gore Grunta kits, and I can't remember quite which one comes from which, but yeah, I did not put the little trophies on them yet. But, yeah. Absolute blast to put together, just because there's so many options, and you could just be like, oh, I want this guy to have an axe, I want him to have a choppa, I want him to have, this and that, I want this one to be having 2 in the air. It all just kind of depends on which arms you select. I'm pretty sure this one is a Gore Grunta choppa. But yeah, you just get so much variety out of these guys. Real easy to make them all look different. Yeah. And then we will look at this unit. Who are also with the 2 choppas. So it's all a matter of what you pick. So these back plates are interchangeable. The shoulder pads are interchangeable. The arms are all interchangeable. The heads are all interchangeable for the most part. There's one that's a champion head that has the actual jaw attached. That one's not interchangeable. It's just part of the torso. And I believe these things can be interchangeable if you're careful, like the chest plates. But that's one of those you should be careful, very careful. Dry fit everything. Here's my... I always love making this guy whenever I make new brutes. He's got no weapons. I just imagine him just running into combat and just punching somebody until he gets a weapon, or just punching people to death. Yeah. There we go. I think this is a Gore Grunta axe too. I think. Hard to say. They all mix in so evenly and flawlessly that it's hard to keep track of which are which. And then we got the bosses. So here's boss number 1. So he's holding the head. He's got the actual iron jaw on his head. Plus I made sure he got the bone jaw around it, just to make him look extra spiky. And I took the back plate from a Gore Grunta to give him that little top knot, just to make him stand out in the crowd. And he's also got the big axe, so he definitely looks more like a hero to me. So I really like this kid. I love these models. And then my other boss for these guys, again, you got the top knot, he's got the smasha and the claw. He's got a peg leg. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty good kids there. Alright, now we can talk about the ones with the jagged gore hackas. Again, we've looked at the these guys, so that's why we're skipping one, and we'll save the bosses for the end. But alright, first one with the spear. Essentially, that's what they're spears. So that's the first one. We got this guy. And this one. And now the final group. So yeah, there's still... I mean, that's why this kit is so great. You have so many options, and it's like, you know, with the Gorgruntas as well, you know, you get so many choices with these guys that it's really easy to not only build 10 unique looking models of a weapon option, but in the end about 20 different looking models with variations at least. You know, different weapons, different heads, combinations. It's just, there's so many different combos that it works really well. And if you do it right, I didn't do it with this set, you could make one holding two spears. Just like you pick this arm and pick this arm and you're good. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get these guys, get started on painting these guys. And then the bosses. So this one, so he's got the top knot here, and this is the boss Choppa from the Gorgrunta kit. So I thought that would be pretty cool to have a different type of boss Choppa than this one. So this one definitely looks more menacing, but essentially, you know, in the rule-wise, it'd be the same kind of boss. But it's all about using your different components that you can find. And then, so this one, rather than having the boss Claw and Smasha, I gave him the boss Haka, whatever they're called, from the Gorgrunta kit. So it just like looks like this big mean thing, rather than this one. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Brute kit, if you haven't done it before, I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. It's just a great kit to work on and work with. All right, and then the last thing to look at is the Underworld team. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head at the second, but so you got this dude with the dual mace, much like the Ardboys ones. Like, you could pop this into a unit of brutes, and for the most part, people wouldn't question who's the champion. This guy would definitely look like a champion here. A little less armor, and he would actually almost look more like a Bone Splitter champion. But Bone Splitters would be a topic for a different day. And then this one. Now this one, you know, while he's got a lot of character, because the regular brutes have so much character, he would actually fit better as just another brute. There's, you know, like I said, he's got some character, but, you know, it's like standing next to somebody like him, it's you know, he's a little bit more dynamic because he's running, but that's just about it. He doesn't look all that super unique. But then you get him, and he does, and partially because he's got the top knot. It really sets him apart from other just brutes. Without that, he could fit in with the regular brutes just fine, but with it just makes him look more bossy. It's a great kit too. I really like it. Gives some character and flair into your brutes. But they, unlike the Ardboys, they don't need it as badly. So yeah, that is all I've got for the brutes. So yeah, I recommend this kit so much more than the Ardboys. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I guess That's all I got with him.